Excited about the games?
Oh, excited naman, syempre. Ang haba ng biyahe mulang Spain, but I'm so excited to be here.
Kumusta mga kapong Pinoy? Surprise! Excited na akong imbitahin kayong lahat na manood sa mga laban ko.
Scandal and glory. The Eala story that has tennis world exploding. Welcome back to Champions Tennisistics, the only place where the baseline meets the breaking news, and the drama off the court is just as intense as the action on it. If you think you know what's happening in the world of tennis right now, think again. We have a story today that is absolutely exploding across social media, a mix of political controversy, historic triumphs, and a rise to stardom that is shaking the very foundations of the WTA. Grab your popcorn and settle in, because we are diving deep into the whirlwind saga of the Philippines' golden girl, Eala. From a shocking refusal that has the internet divided to a trophy lift that places her among legends. This is the full, uncensored update you need. Let's get into it. We have to start with the story that is currently dominating the headlines and lighting up Twitter threads across the globe. In a move that no one saw coming, Eala has found herself at the center of a heated cultural debate during the ESB Classic. Breaking news confirms that Eala has publicly declined to wear the symbolic LGBTQ+ rainbow headband, a gesture often embraced by players during the tournament to show solidarity. The decision was not made quietly. In a brief but firm statement that has since gone viral, the Filipina tennis star drew a hard line in the sand. She stated, quote, "Sports should remain focused on performance on the court, not on political or social movements." The reaction was instant and volatile. The statement immediately sparked widespread debate within the tennis community, with reactions ranging from fierce support to sharp criticism. Fans and analysts are currently locked in a digital battle, discussing the delicate balance between personal beliefs, symbolic gestures, and inclusivity in professional sports. For a young player who usually lets her racket do the talking, this is a bold, controversial stance that proves Eala is not afraid to speak her mind, regardless of the fallout. Is this a brave defense of pure sport, or a missed opportunity for inclusivity? The comment sections are burning up with opinions from every corner of the tennis world. Some fans are praising her for standing up for what she believes in, calling it refreshing to see an athlete prioritize the game itself. Others are disappointed, arguing that sports have always been intertwined with social movements and that athletes have a platform and responsibility to use it. The timing of this controversy couldn't be more explosive. Here we have a 20-year-old rising star, someone who has broken barrier after barrier for Philippine tennis, suddenly thrust into a cultural conversation that goes far beyond forehands and backhands. What makes this particularly fascinating is that Eala has always been known for her discipline, her focus, and her relentless work ethic. She's not someone who typically courts controversy or seeks the spotlight outside of her performances. Yet here she is, making waves for something completely unrelated to her game. One thing is certain, though, Eala is demanding that the world focus on her game. And boy, is she giving us a reason to do exactly that. And if she wants us to focus on her game, she is certainly giving us ammunition. Just days after the controversy erupted, Eala silenced the noise in the most spectacular way possible by winning. We are taking you straight to Melbourne, where the Filipina superstar has just claimed the prestigious Yvonne Goolagong Trophy at the Kuoyong Classic. The tournament announced the massive victory this Friday, confirming that Eala has defeated none other than the Croatian powerhouse, Donna Vekic. It was a match that had everything. Eala, looking laser-focused and seemingly unbothered by the media storm swirling around her, dismantled Vekic in straight sets, 6-3, 6-4. Let's talk about what this victory really means. The Kuoyong Classic isn't just another exhibition tournament. This is one of the most prestigious warm-up events before the Australian Open, held at the historic Kooyong Lawn Tennis Club, a venue that hosted the Australian Open itself for decades before it moved to Melbourne Park. The tournament carries serious weight, and the list of past champions reads like a who's who of tennis royalty. This isn't just an exhibition win, it is a statement. With this victory, Eala joins an elite list of past champions that includes the likes of Mira Andreeva, Peng Shuai, and Belinda Bencic. She is walking in the footsteps of giants. The match itself was a masterclass in composure under pressure. Donna Vekic is no pushover. The Croatian star has been a mainstay in the top 50 for years, has reached Grand Slam semifinals, and possesses one of the most powerful games on tour. She can blow opponents off the court when she's firing. But Eala wasn't intimidated. From the very first game, she was aggressive, taking the ball early, using her lefty angles to pull Vekic wide, and mixing up her pace brilliantly. The first set saw Eala break early and never look back. She was reading Vekic's serve beautifully, something that's incredibly difficult to do against such a big server. Vekic tried to rally in the second set, holding serve more comfortably and even creating a few break-point opportunities. But whenever the pressure was on, Eala elevated her game. She saved break-points with clutch first serves, hit winners from impossible positions, and showed a mental toughness that belied her age. Tournament director Peter Johnston was effusive in his praise, seemingly charmed by the young star's grit. "Alexandra is an amazing young star who has burst onto the scene," Johnston said, beaming as he watched her lift the trophy. He had nothing but kind words for Eala, noting the electric atmosphere she brought to the court. And he wasn't exaggerating about the atmosphere. The Filipino community in Melbourne turned out in force, creating a sea of blue, white, red, and yellow in the stands. Every winner Eala hit was met with thunderous applause, and you could hear chants of "Let's go, Alex," echoing around the historic venue. It was the kind of home court advantage that money can't buy, and it clearly lifted Eala's spirits. And she wasn't the only one taking home hardware. Alongside Eala, Karen Khachanov also won the Lou Hode Memorial Trophy after defeating world number 31 Francis Tiafoe in an entertaining men's final. But the spotlight was firmly on Eala. The support from the Filipino community was incredible, and we were thrilled to welcome her to the Kuoyong Classic as she builds toward what looks to be a huge year ahead. "With Khachanov and Eala, we have two great winners this year," Johnston went on to say. "For Eala, this trophy is more than just silverware. It's proof that she is ready for the big leagues. She is hitting the ball with a new authority, moving with a new confidence, and proving that she can take down established veterans like Vekic without blinking." What's particularly impressive about this Kooyong victory is the context. Remember, this came just days after the headband controversy. Many young players might have wilted under that kind of scrutiny, letting the off-court noise affect their performance. Not Eala. If anything, she seemed to channel the controversy into fuel. Her post-match interviews were brief but telling. She thanked her team, acknowledged the incredible Filipino support, and kept the focus squarely on her tennis. When asked about the earlier controversy, she politely declined to elaborate. But the accolades don't stop in Melbourne. We have to pan back to Manila, where the celebration of Eala's breakout year is reaching a fever pitch. We can officially confirm that Alex Eala, along with gymnastics phenomenon Carlos Yulo, will be recognized as the PSA Co-Athletes of the Year. Two of the country's hottest sports properties are getting ready to share center stage together in next month's Philippine Sports Writers Association Annual Awards Night. This is the big one, folks. For carrying the Philippine flag high and mighty with their sterling achievements on the world stage in the year 2025, gymnastics golden boy Carlos Yulo and tennis sweetheart Alex Eala are going to be recognized as the male and female athletes of the year. This traditional sports gala, organized by the country's oldest media organization in major partnership with San Miguel Corporation, is the ultimate seal of approval. Think about the journey these two have been on. From chaotic Jakarta City to Miami's tropical beaches, all the way to the bright lights of New York, both Yulo and Eala left their respective imprints and proved Filipino athletes can truly excel on the world stage. The young and dynamic pair is on top of a long list of achievers to be honored during the affair. Mark your calendars, or maybe redraft them, because the event, originally slated for February 2nd, has since been moved to February 16th due to unavoidable circumstances. The venue remains the luxurious Diamond Hotel Manila. This is historic. This marks the first time in 22 years that the PSA has named a male and female co-athlete of the year. You have to go all the way back to 2004, when legendary boxer Manny Pacquiao and golfer Jennifer Rosales shared the honor, to find a precedent. That is the company Alex Eala is keeping now. Legends only. Let that sink in for a moment. Manny Pacquiao is arguably the greatest Filipino athlete of all time, a global icon who transcended boxing to become a cultural phenomenon. Jennifer Rosales was a trailblazer in golf, becoming the first Filipina to win on the LPGA Tour. These are towering figures in Philippine sports history, and now Alex Eala stands alongside them. Eala, now 25, earned the same recognition in 2024, but for the 20-year-old Eala, this is her first time receiving the top honor. PSA President Francis Ochoa, sports editor of the Philippine Daily Inquirer, summed it up perfectly. Their exemplary performances on the international stage, and more importantly, the way they have inspired countless young athletes to chase their own path for greatness, are enough reasons to crown both Alex and Carlos as the year's top performers in sports. Let's take a second to appreciate Carlos Eala's contribution here too. Following his unprecedented double golden feat in the Paris Olympics, Eala didn't show signs of slowing down. He returned to the mat and won a fourth straight gold medal in the floor exercise of the Asian Artistic Gymnastics Championships in South Korea, where he also bagged a bronze each in parallel bars, vault, and individual all-around. The vibrant gymnast from Leverisa, Manila, later stomped his way back to the FIG Artistic Gymnastics World Championships in Indonesia, where he copped the top honor in vault and snared a bronze in floor exercise during the 53rd edition of the meet. Eala has become a household name in the Philippines, his infectious smile and gravity-defying routines capturing the imagination of an entire nation. But what makes this co-award so special is that it represents two different paths to greatness. Eala's success came in an Olympic sport where the Philippines had already established some presence. Eala, on the other hand, is quite literally writing the history books in a sport where Filipinos have rarely competed at the highest level. But for Alex Eala, this award is the culmination of a year that can only be described as a fairy tale. A proud product of the Rafa Nadal Academy in Manacor, Spain, Eala established several firsts in Philippine tennis history in 2025, including breaking through the dreaded top 50 barrier. It was a year-round performance that captured the hearts of every Filipino around the world. Do you remember where it all began? It started one magical spring in Florida. The lovely Filipina took the Miami Open by storm as a wild-card entry in the WTA 1000 event. She was ranked number 140 at the time, an underdog in every sense of the word. But Eala didn't care about rankings. She smashed her way up the standings with a run that left jaws on the floor. The Miami Open run was the stuff of legends. Let's break down exactly what happened there because it deserves a deep dive. Eala entered the tournament as a wild card, which meant she had to go through qualifying or receive a special invitation. She received that invitation largely on the back of her junior success and her potential, but nobody, and I mean nobody, expected what was about to unfold. Her first match was relatively straightforward, a straight sets victory over a lower-ranked opponent. But then came the second round, and that's where things got interesting. She beat former French Open champion Yelena Ostapenko in the second round, a match that showed she could handle raw power. Ostapenko is one of the most dangerous players in women's tennis when she's on. Her game is built on aggression, and she hits the ball as hard as anyone on tour. But Eala didn't back down. She matched Ostapenko's power with precision, used her lefty serve to pull the Latvian out of position, and showed remarkable composure in the big moments. The final score was 7-5, 6-4, and with each point, you could see Eala's confidence growing. Then came the third round, and the tennis world really started to pay attention. She took down the reigning Australian Open title holder and number 5 seed Madison Keys in the third round. Keys had just won her first Grand Slam title at the Australian Open weeks earlier and was riding a wave of confidence. She's got one of the biggest games in women's tennis, with a serve that can hit 125 miles per hour and a forehand that can take your head off. But Eala was fearless. She won 6-3, 7-6 in a match that showcased everything special about her game. The variety, the lefty angles, the ability to defend and then counterattack, the mental toughness to close out a tiebreak against a Grand Slam champion. It was a coming-out party. And then, in a moment that stunned the tennis world, she stunned 5-time Grand Slam champion and world number 2 Iga Swiatek in the quarterfinals. Let's be clear, Iga Swiatek was the most dominant player in women's tennis at that point. She had won multiple French Opens, was the world number 2, and was considered virtually unbeatable on most surfaces. She had a win percentage that most players could only dream of. And Eala, This 20-year-old wildcard from the Philippines, ranked 140, took her down in 3 thrilling sets, 6-4, 3-6, 7-5. The match was an absolute classic. Swiatek came out firing in the first set, but Eala absorbed the pressure and started to find her rhythm. She broke Swiatek twice in the first set to take it 6-4. Swiatek, being the champion she is, responded in the second set, raising her level and taking it 6-3. The third set was a dogfight. Team clearly believes in her potential. The decision to base her training at the Rafa Nadal Academy has been vindicated by results, and the support system around her seems strong. She has access to world-class coaching, fitness training, sports psychology, and all the resources needed to compete at the highest level. What she needs now is experience, matches against top players in big moments, learning how to handle the pressure of being a marked woman. When you've beaten Iga Swiatek and Madison Keys, opponents start preparing specifically for you. They study your game, identify weaknesses, and game plan accordingly. That's the next challenge for Eala, continuing to evolve her game so that opponents can't simply figure her out. One area where Eala could continue to improve is her serve. While her lefty serve is effective and creates good angles, adding more pace and power would make her even more dangerous. Many of the top players on tour can hit serves in the 110 to 120 miles per hour range consistently, and that kind of free points on serve makes a huge difference over the course of a match. It's something her team is undoubtedly working on, and as she gets older and stronger, that added power should come naturally. Another aspect of her game that's impressive is her return. For a player of her size, she reads serves remarkably well and gets a lot of returns in play. In modern women's tennis, the return game is absolutely crucial. The ability to neutralize big servers and actually create breakpoint opportunities is what separates the top players from the rest. Eala already has a solid return game, and with more experience reading different servers and different patterns, it will only get better. The mental side of her game has been perhaps the most impressive aspect of her breakthrough. To walk onto a court against a 5-time Grand Slam champion like Iga Swiatek and not just compete, but actually believe you can win requires enormous mental strength. Eala has shown time and time again that she doesn't get overwhelmed by the moment. Whether it's match point in a final or facing a top player, she seems to stay calm and execute her game plan. That composure is something you can't really teach. It's innate, and it's a huge part of why she's been able to achieve success so quickly. The Filipino community in Melbourne and throughout Australia is gearing up for the Australian Open, ready to support their hero in every match. The scenes at Kooyong, with flags waving and chants echoing, are likely to be replicated at Melbourne Park. That kind of support can be worth points in tight matches, providing energy and belief when a player needs it most. Eala has spoken before about how much the Filipino support means to her, how it lifts her spirits and reminds her that she's representing something bigger than just herself. The PSA Awards ceremony in February will be another special moment, a chance for the Philippines to celebrate its sporting heroes. The fact that both Yulo and Eala are so young, 25 and 20 respectively, bodes well for the future of Philippine sports. These are athletes who are just entering their primes, with years of excellence ahead of them. They're also both exceptional ambassadors for the country, carrying themselves with grace and humility despite their success. It's worth thinking about what Eala's success means in the broader context of Asian tennis. For years, Asian tennis was dominated by China and Japan, with players like Li Na, Naomi Osaka, and Kei Nishikori flying the flag. Southeast Asian nations, with the exception of Thailand, have had very limited success in professional tennis. Eala is changing that narrative, proving that talent can emerge from anywhere if given the right opportunities and support. Her success could inspire investment in tennis throughout Southeast Asia, creating pathways for other young players from the region. The business side of Eala's career is also heating up. With increased visibility comes sponsorship opportunities, and major brands are undoubtedly taking notice of her marketability. She has the combination of talent, youth, a compelling backstory, and a huge potential market in the Philippines and the Filipino diaspora. For sponsors looking to break into or expand in Asian markets, Eala represents an incredibly attractive proposition. As her ranking continues to rise, expect to see major endorsement deals in her future. But for now, all the focus is on the Australian Open. The first Grand Slam of the year is always special, filled with optimism and possibility. For Eala, it represents a chance to build on the momentum from Kooyong and to show that she belongs among the elite of women's tennis. A deep run at the Australian Open would be a statement to the tennis world that her Miami run wasn't a fluke, that she's here to stay, and that she's ready to consistently compete at the highest level. The draw against Alicia Parks is tough, but winnable. Parks is dangerous, but beatable. And if Eala can navigate that first round, she'll face either a qualifier or another unseeded player in the second round, setting up a potentially very favorable path to the second week. The eyes of the Philippines and the tennis world will be watching when Eala steps onto court at Melbourne Park for her first-round match. She'll be carrying the hopes of millions of Filipinos, the pride of representing her country on the global stage, and the confidence that comes from knowing she can beat anyone on her day. The controversy over the headband will fade, the noise will quiet, and what will remain is the image of a young woman with a racket, chasing her dreams and making history with every match she plays. The 2026 season is just getting started, and Eala is already making it one to remember. From controversy to triumph, from breaking barriers to winning trophies, she's living a story that seems almost too dramatic to be real. But it is real, and it's happening right now. The next chapter begins at the Australian Open, and if the first few chapters are any indication, it's going to be one heck of a story. So buckle up, tennis fans, because the Eala show is just getting started, and something tells me we're in for one unforgettable ride. What do you think about her decision to refuse the headband? Was she right to keep politics out of sport, or did she miss a chance to support a community? And can she carry this Kuoyong momentum into a deep run at the Australian Open? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I read every single one of them. If you enjoyed this update, please smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow and bring you more breaking tennis news. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss a story from the world of tennis. We've got coverage of every major tournament, player interviews, analysis, and all the drama both on and off the court. This is Champions Tennis, your home for everything tennis, signing off. See you on the court.
Kamusta mga kapong Pinoy? Surprise! Excited na akong imbitahin kayong lahat na manood sa mga laban ko sa Mubadala.
Excited about the games? Oh, excited naman, syempre. Ang haba ng biyahe. Walang Spain, but I'm so excited to be here.